Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Stain and Seal Experts Staining University podcast training show. The best show for staining and fence and deck contractors, as well as the stain and build enthusiasts and DIYers. Let me get my headphones in where you can hear me a little better. I'm your host, Caleb Roth. I'm the CEO and resident stain expert at Stain and Seal Experts. We are the #1 stain contractor in Nashville. And if you're looking to start or grow your wood staining business, Staining University is the right place to start. Every Saturday, we discuss the best and safest ways to preserve and protect exterior wood. We share hands-on knowledge and experience with the largest community of experts, talking all things wood care, stain and seal, you name it. Good morning. It is Saturday, November 5th, 2022, and our show today is sponsored by Expert Professional Wood Care. Where are they? There they are. Expect expert performance. Expert stain and seals conditioning oils seep deep into the wood. See, you guys can tell I'm reading, but I'm reading so I don't mess up. Seep deep into the wood grain to preserve, protect, and beautify wood in all stages of life and all seasons, which brings us to our topic today, winter stain projects. So it's wintertime. We're going into that season. And I thought it would just make sense if we talked about what we're doing and what you're doing in the world when wintertime rolls around. A lot of you guys may be new to the business, maybe your first winter, maybe your first season. You may be concerned or a little just not know what to do because you've never been here before. Or maybe you're a seasoned expert pro, whatever you want to call yourself, been doing it for 30 years and you've got it dialed in. So thought we would share some thoughts and ideas, and maybe, just maybe, it would help somebody. As we get going, I would like if everybody would say your name, introduce yourself, just tell us where you're from. We got Piedmont Home Services, Clearwater Pro Wash. Good morning. We've got a Facebook user, an anonymous Facebook user, and then we've got Dewey Did It. So, and I noticed we've got a lot more people watching than we do have commenting. So please comment where you're from. And if you know someone who is also in the staining business, or you think that the wood care business might be able to make their life better, please do it. I want to say good morning to my family. My wife says hello. Good morning. Good morning, kids. I love each and every one of you. I think this show's cool for me because maybe my great-great-grandkids will get to see this show and see who I am. So I think that's pretty cool. So I'd love to interview some of you other guys on here too, so that we can record something that your folks, can pass on and see. I think YouTube's going to be here for a while, so I think that's pretty cool. Rich Matera, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Dewey with Wu 10 Pressure Washing out of White House, Tennessee. Derek Jensen, Precision Power Washing and Restoration in Georgia. Brenda Farley, she is a seasoned vet, so I can't wait. Brenda, please stick around so you can tell us what you're doing. And then we got some folks wrapping up the AFA University in Texas. This is Dan Wheeler from the Fence Industry Podcast. And we got Bam Bam. He was gonna volunteer to wash his church this morning, and he says it's a little too windy for that. So it's hard to tell what the wind's doing. I'm looking out my window, and the trees don't have leaves on them anymore, so it's hard to see. I'm gonna go over today's show a little different than I have been in past. If you notice, our branding is changing. And the look, the look has changed, and we're just trying to do a better job for you guys. So again, good morning, Mike Couch. Good morning, Eric Land from Royalty Deck Restoration. Appreciate you guys joining us. Please add in your experiences. We love experience shares on here, and so I want to do it. So the difference on the show today, less scripted. I don't tend to do as well reading from a script, and I've been trying to prepare things in my life better, and so I've been trying to write the show and things out so that I do a good job. But so today I'm going to write topics. I've got topics. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 9 topics I want to discuss about what we do in the wintertime. I'm going to talk about the topic, and then we're going to talk about it together. And I think that'll be a little better way for me to do this show and give you guys some valuable time. So one last comment before we get started is Derek Jensen. He says, actually, why don't I throw it up on the screen? Derek, good morning. new to the stain industry, definitely a huge fan of the channel and all the great knowledge y'all are sharing. So now listen, I want you guys to stick around because I've got a huge announcement to make. The biggest announcement I've ever made regarding Staining University. So I want you guys to stick around, and I will announce that in just a little bit. All right. First topic. Okay. On today's show, we're going to discuss what we do at Stain and Seal Experts in Nashville during the cold weather months in our exterior wood care business. So first off, cold weather in the staining business offers lots of opportunity. And I'm going to share with you how we take advantage of this time. I'm going to highlight how the wintertime is still a viable time to clean and stain if you are using professional wood care products that have no temperature restrictions. So the first thing that I would do, first thing that we do is we find holes in our current marketing and advertising plan, and we create a new plan for next year. So planning, this is a great season for planning. If your marketing didn't do exactly what you wanted it to do in 2022, if you didn't get the quality leads you wanted to do, if you don't know how many leads it takes you to get to close a job, if you don't know where your leads are or your business is coming from, and you want to improve on that, right now is a great time to sit down and try to dig into the details and see what worked and what didn't work. And hopefully all of you are finding out from every customer where they heard from you at, because that's powerful information. And you can ask that over the phone. Simply your first contact when they call you, hey, where'd you hear about us? And you can make yourself a note. You can make yourself a graph somewhere, whatever, but you need to compile that data. Find out where did they hear from me, or where did they hear about me, and what made them call. You can come up with a set of questions if you want. You'll notice that we ask questions like that. If you deal with us, you know that you're going to get calls from us from time to time wondering how it was, what can we improve upon, what can we do to make it better, and where did you hear about us? And if you can figure out people are hearing about you from a certain place, let's say maybe maybe all your people heard about you from word of mouth, you can find out who you need to thank. Maybe there's some guy in your town who builds fences who tells 1,000 people a year about you. That's powerful, and you need to be able to call that guy. You need to be able to thank him. Maybe you're spending a lot of time on social media, but 80% of your customer base is coming from Instagram. Well, you would know it's time to turn up the Instagram. Maybe let the other ones not be so prevalent. So great time to take a look at your marketing. And then when it comes to next year, what you're going to do, I'm still not an expert at that. I'm working hard on that in my own companies and trying to figure out what is it that we want, what message we want to put out, what area, what industry, what is our core customer, who do we want to work with, and what message do we want to put out to those people to get them to do business with us. And that's not I'm not a marketing, I don't have a degree in marketing, so I have to figure this stuff out just like you guys. And it is a struggle and it is a challenge, but if you sit down and you take time, you get out your notebook and you start drawing things up, you will come up with a better plan than doing nothing. So I really encourage you to take the time to do that. The wintertime in the staining business, it's kind of like preparing for battle. You've probably seen movies of medieval times, and they're preparing for battle. And there's the sword makers making swords, the armor makers making armor, someone's sharpening swords. The archers are making thousands of arrows. They're building catapults to catapult things, and think about your business like that. This is the time you prepare for war, because the season is coming next year that we have to go get in the trenches. And the wintertime is really a blessing. If it was nonstop, full speed ahead all year long, it would kill us. It would be too much. So it is nice to get a slowdown. So take advantage of it. Number 2, maintenance on all your trucks and equipment. you burn yourself on both ends of the candle, and your equipment usually gets the short end of the stick on that. So when you do that, you got to stop. You got to stop. You got to maintenance your trucks. You got to make sure your oil changes are getting done. You got to make sure your brakes are good. You got to make sure, all your turning signals, basic stuff on your equipment. You got to do that. And then your sprayers, you got to make sure once a year you're completely tearing these things down, cleaning them out, getting the filters changed, checking everything, taking your guns apart, cleaning them, making sure that everything's ready to go for next season. What we tend to do is every year at the end of season, when we have kind of a lull, when we have a slight lull in business, we'll take all our sprayers to the sprayer shop. We'll drop them off, and they'll go through them. They'll clean them. They'll change the filters. They might check the packings and the pumps and do things like that. We put a lot of wear and tear on our equipment. We take care of it, but we use them a lot. And it's important for me to know that whether the machine is broken down or not, we're going to take it and have it looked at and gone through, so that I don't get a breakdown on a Tuesday afternoon when when we've got 10 jobs piled up to get done over the next 48 hours. So that's just something to keep in mind, is to maintain your equipment. Check your equipment and think about your equipment. What worked this year and what did not? And is it time to do an equipment upgrade? So equipment, take care of it and it'll take care of you, just like, your dad always used to say. Number 3, reading over all the wording on all contracts, websites, and social media, to be sure that the message seen by the public is exactly what you want your customer to see. Oh, a coffee delivery from my number 1 son. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, I'm on the show. My young son brought me some coffee, and I really, really needed that. So I appreciate that. So if you read over, you never know. A lot of us started our business on the couch, right? It was a dream. We got on a laptop after hours, and we got on there and we typed up the message. We're gonna start a business. You built all your social media, and this very much happened to me. And then once you got going, you got busy, you got a little, you saw a little success, but all the messaging, all the about us, all the info on your company, on Google, on Facebook, on your website, it's just the exact same that it was when this was still just a dream. And now you're doing it and things have changed. And these things change every year. So reading over the wording on all your contracts, for one, is very important, because there's going to be things that happen throughout the year that you need to make note of, that you go, oh, I need to change that on our contract. Websites and social media, like I was talking about earlier, this is what the public sees when they look you up on the internet. So unless you have a storefront where they can go and see you and see what you're all about, your website is your storefront. And so it is wise to check on those things every season and make sure that they're right. Take the time to do it. It only took a little time to build it. Now it takes just a little time to go back and get it right. And I recommend that highly. Contracts. I'm going to go back to contracts for just a second and talk about your contracts. There's a lot of things in our contract that we need to have, and it's very important. I wouldn't say you need to get copies of other people's contracts. You just, probably best thing to do is call an attorney and have them help you with your own contract. An attorney is really, someone good to know and have in your corner, and they will help you with things. They will make sure your contract reads right. They will make sure your contract protects both you and your customer, and they'll make sure that they're going to mention things that you didn't even think of that you should have in there. And the late, great San Antonio Stain and Seal, the leader there, who passed away earlier this year, told me about one. Dog poop. He has a dog poop clause in his contract. So a lot of people have 500 piles of dog poop in the backyard, and their guys have to go in the backyard and work and pull their hoses, through the backyard. And if there's dog poop everywhere, it gets on their hoses, and then guys have to wipe it off, and it gets on their boots, gets in the trucks. And so they have, I think, $100 dog poop clause. It's like, if you don't clean the poop up in your backyard before we come, it's an automatic $100 fee. And, that might be something you want to put in your contract if you're tired of dealing with dog poop. I'm pretty sure, I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure we put that in ours, and no one's had any problem at all with it. So something to think about. All right. Number 4, training your team on new procedures, safety measures, new products, new equipment, etc. The number one way people get hurt is not being properly trained on new equipment. So I would take a moment to just, what are we doing for training? What are we going to do if we don't train? And let's say we're talking about safety training. What do we do if we're not training and someone gets hurt? What if your best guy has never had ladder safety training? He falls off the ladder on your job site and breaks his neck. And his family or his family's insurance company comes after you and you have no training in place. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing to think about, but it's something that we got to think about. So I think it's a good idea to definitely start thinking about safety measures, safety training. I know some people have probably experienced a Nazi safety officer. And we don't want to be that. We don't want to be the jerk that slows everything down and causes tons of problems. But we do want to know about what we can do to have a safer job site. And we also want to talk about new procedures. Maybe we're going to implement back brushing this year on every fence that we do, because it does, because we want to use less product. Maybe we're bringing on a new product. Maybe we're going from another stain brand to a new stain brand. And there's things and attributes of different products that we need to learn about. The wintertime's a great time to figure that out. Take some time, set up a practice panel or a practice deck, or go do a practice job. Let the boss come out. Let the lady who answers the phones come out. Let everybody come out and learn this stuff. It's important for everyone in your office to know what's going on. It's important for everyone in your office, if you're a service business, to know how, at least somewhat how to do the service that you're doing, so they can speak the language and so that they can have empathy for your crews. Because your crews that are out there on the front lines, they're on the front lines. And it's easy to not appreciate that sometimes, I think, when you're behind a desk or something. So it's a good idea to get your hands dirty, go over these new procedures, go over the old procedures, go over the procedures that worked. And if you constantly have a callback for a certain reason, maybe there's, maybe the first picket beside the house, 10 times a year is light because you guys used the water hose method on the house to keep the house wet, and you sprayed it and then you rinse the house off, and that's causing callbacks. Maybe it's time to start with cutting it in by hand. Identify those things, those trouble areas, and fix them. It's the perfect time to do it, wintertime. All right. The next one, following up with all of your past clients and the bids you did not close. So it is a great time to look back at everybody you worked for, and this year and last year and the year before and the year before, and say, thank you. Simple as that. Thank you. How did it turn out? Is it time to do it again? Can we help you again? Can we, we offered these new services. We recommend it's time to do a maintenance coat on your deck. We recommend that we clean your fence again this year because the leaves have fallen, and you know how they pile up in the back corner back there. We need to get those off, and we need to clean everything up. That will build your current customer base that you already have, and you will get new business from your customers. It's easier to get money the second time from a customer than it is the first time. So easier to increase the lifetime value of a current customer than it is to go get a new one. And number 2, bids you did not close. So maybe you bid
500 jobs this year and you closed 200, there are 300 that you did not close. And you could reach out to them and say, hey, it's not too late. And you'll find out which ones did nothing and which ones hired someone, which ones did it themselves. And you can start to create some type of a catalog of, hey, these guys already went with somebody else, but these 172, they did not go with anybody. So we need to keep reaching out to them. And when they are ready, we will be there to service them. So that's another great way to close more business, to increase those, because those people that you didn't close, they're still leads. If you didn't close them, they are still a lead. And if they did not go with someone else, they are still a lead. So leads cost money. Don't throw money away. Follow up on your unclosed leads. All right, and I'm gonna do comments in just a minute because you guys are really making some good comments. I got two more. Going over financial data, reports, etc., to find patterns of waste and patterns of profitability. You might take a look at a report and realize you've been spending $300 a month on a software you haven't used in 18 months. Cut it off. You might find that you're wasting money on something you didn't know about. You might find that jobs within a 15-mile radius that are over 300 feet of fence are your most profitable job. And you might look at ways to increase those type of jobs. So looking at patterns, cutting out the waste, cutting out the fat, going over the things that you really need to get rid of on your P&L. It's a good thing. It's a good time to take care of that. We're busy in the summer. Also, I want to put out a warning. You want to be responsible and frugal. You don't want to be cheap, because cheap could cost you later in the long run. So a lot of times when you're doing this, you need to just maintain the mindset that it might be wintertime. We might be slower than we want to be. We might not be making as much money as we want to be because it's our first or second or third winter in business. And when you take a look at these spending habits, maybe you start thinking, well, my advertising should probably cut that back. I need to cut my advertising back. If the advertising is working, don't cut it back. That's not what I do at my house. The companies that succeed in down economies and in the slow times typically never turn off their advertising. They increase it. When everyone else is pulling the reins back on their advertising and slowing it down, I want to be the guy who's pouring rocket fuel to it, because I want to be the one that they see. So take that for what it's worth. That's what I do at my house. My last tip for you that I do is I inventory my stain. What stain do I have on hand, and how can I push those colors to my clients? Do I have to give a discount? Maybe not. I got great colors, but I want to push my clients to use up everything that I got so I can zero out my inventory, because inventory is profit according to the IRS. So you need to make sure that you do what you can to not just be sitting with a ton of inventory that you're never going to use. Great idea to get it used. And maybe you've got 1 gallon of green water-based paint. You got all these just small one-offs. Those are great things that you can either find customers to use them, or you can just advertise on your local Facebook page. Hey, I got a bucket of green solid stain that I'm never going to use. It's brand new. I got a 5-gallon bucket of barn red. I got these weird colors that we're never going to use again, and I would like to donate them to someone in need who could use this stuff. And you do some goodwill for your community before you throw it in the trash. So inventorying your stain is just a great way to go through your stuff and know what you have. For one, I think it's a good idea to know what you have at all times, but it's also a good idea to go through it, push that to get it out, create a sale. I mean, stores do this. Inventory reduction sale. You've seen this all your life. You know how to do this. You just haven't been thinking about it. But go ahead and do that. That is money sitting there. And let me tell you something. When you got 4 or 5 jobs in a row that have zero cost of material, that's all profit. That's good money. And it comes in the perfect time, wintertime. So there you go. Guys, I got more. I got tips. But right now, I want to talk about what we just talked about. What are you guys doing? What are y'all doing in the winter? What do you guys do? So I'm going to start picking up where we are. Here we go. So Stain Man, Kenny Dugan, is 41 degrees in Texas. And it's probably 65 degrees over here. It's warm. Kenny Dugan's wearing his long johns. Dewey says, wonder if it's something huge coming down the road. Literally big things coming for 2023. We do. It's, everything's growing. All of us. It's growing for everyone. Good morning. All things new from Lincoln, Nebraska. Justin Menendez with Making All Things New. We have a new dealer alert. Justin Menendez over in Nebraska in the Omaha area. Brand new expert stain and seal dealer. And that's going to be a huge thing for both us and Justin. We're super excited. No one better in the business to buy stain from than Justin. So excited about that. Justin recommends what he does is he gives out gift cards for deck and fence builders who refer our services. We do corporate gifts every year also. It's a great idea. Durant, Oklahoma. I'm guessing that's Jake Bell. Jake, glad you're on the show. Hope the car lot's doing well, and I hope the stain business is doing even better. So Dewey says, I have a huge tool I use for maintenance on my truck, pressure washers, and anything else that keeps track of my maintenance process and reminds me when and what I did and all my fluids and filters get delivered. That's cool. We're a little more old school. We've got a binder. We got a binder, and it works well. It doesn't work well for me, but there are other people in my organization who are very organized, and it works very well for them. So it works for us. And we would love it if you would share with us what that tool is, Dewey, if you get a chance. Eric says it's on ours as well. So he's talking about one of our things that we do there. Mark Selbert says, what products do you have that I can apply on the floor of my shed that is plywood that has never been sealed? Plywood's sort of a different animal, and it's got a lot of glues and things like that in it. So you might have to do a water penetration test to see if a penetrating oil would go into that wood. I don't know. If it does, you could certainly put any of our oil stains on there. You could also probably put any of the film forming stains in there, because it's going to be inside and it's not going to get sun exposure, which is what kills stains. All right, got to get that chapstick going. Lips are dry. Wintertime is here. So we got another one that says one word, insurance. And he's right. You got to check your insurance policies every year. Make sure it's done. Make sure you're using a good, experienced insurance provider. Somebody who knows what they're doing. Somebody who can look at have them come to your operation. Come see where you're doing your business at. Tell them what you do. Help them understand what you do. And they're going to walk through with their clipboard and they're going to ask questions. And they're going to go, oh, what are you doing for this? Or they might look at your policy. Maybe you're using another company. Maybe you bring in a new person and they're like, hey, your liability is only 500,000 here. It probably needs to be 3 million. If somebody does this or this, you're in trouble, right? And you need that person in your life. That is their job, and they will advise you. So I recommend you get a good insurance person. Somebody's going to call it like it is right here. Don't be cheap. Upgrade your tools and materials. I agree. Stephen L. Jones says, do you pass on the cost of stain to the customers? I think Stephen's talking about when we clear out old stain. Certainly. I mean, the stain cost me, right? I had to pay for the stain. I can't give away the stain to my customer. I mean, you certainly can make exceptions, and maybe if a grandma calls who just doesn't have a lot of money and she needs her porch done, and you want to do volunteer work, or you want to just do low cost budget friendly things for someone, that I'm perfectly okay with that. In fact, I think that those are our responsibility to take care of people like that. But in general, if someone calls, they got their new fence, they want it stained, and you got, a bunch of mahogany in stock, you could say, hey, look, it's $3,000, but it's $2,800 if you go with mahogany because I've got it in stock, and it's an inventory reduction sale. And if you make it just sweet enough, they might take you up and clear out that mahogany. And you took a $200 discount, but you cleared, $1,200 worth of inventory off of your inventory. So I would certainly do what you can to clear that stuff up and make sure you get paid for it. Also, Dewey says, use space is costing money in my shop. He's right. If it has no use, get rid of it. Eric Land says, interior painting. I think interior painting is great for people other than me. I'm not an interior painter, but I see a lot of you guys got a steady hand. You guys do great work interior. And certainly, who doesn't want to be working indoors, when it's up north, up in Michigan, where Eric's from, it gets like 500 degrees below zero with 700-mile-an-hour winds. So I would be inside too if I was up there. Down here in Tennessee, we tend to get very bipolar weather. So one day it's 64 degrees, the next day it's 32 degrees and snowing. But we tend to have a little better weather, and hopefully if it's dry this year, we'll get to stay busy. So here's a Facebook user says, some neighborhoods have a neighborhood Facebook page. Be on the lookout with your customers you make happy and see if they can post your work and business to their Facebook neighborhood page. That's a great idea. And I think that's an underutilized thing. That is the power of word of mouth in the 21st century. Or is this the 22nd century? I don't know. I guess 21st. But you gotta use things and technology to your advantage. And if you can get your customer to post your work on their neighborhood page, wow. Great advertisement. Our own jobs and sub work. I'm not sure what Eric's talking about there. I think I missed the boat on that one. But Piedmont says we do gutter cleaning and gutter guards. Anything you can do, man. That's awesome. Fall's certainly a great time to talk people into gutter problems, because they have gutter problems this time of year with all the leaves. Designer Crafts says, I have been following your product for a couple years now and have been considering it in my launch of my new stain division as of 2023, where I am offering a pre-weathered, pre-stained in-house climate-controlled application on my deck builds that I will be able to offer my clients, a one-stop shop for a fully stained deck, built midwinter with multi-color stain options to highlight all my special features and craftsmanship. And I would like to try your product this winter. We would be honored if you would try our stuff. Obviously, the key word here is pre-weathered. Decking boards tend to have that notorious mill glaze, or tight grain, or lack of sun exposure. So the longer something's out in the sun, the better it can absorb our stain when it comes to decking boards. So that's going to be a challenge. But if you can figure that out, I think you could scale that nationwide. I think you could sell pre-stained deck kits all over the world. Eric Land says dog poop fee is in our contract, and he laughs about it because that's, some people are not responsible. They don't pick up the dog poop in their backyard. So Clearwater Pro Wash says, go over your website, check timing and profit of every job, send out holiday cards and brownies, write letters to send out to previous clients, people who don't use us in February through my CRM, and learning events. I agree. Wintertime's a great time to do all of those things, and learning events. There's lots of those. So if you can add a new skill or a new service to your business, you can usually learn that for free. So you just got to get on the road and go do it. She also says local networking, always be working. Winter is for working on your business, not in it. My number one goal is learning about hiring better. This old gal needs help and need to get off the truck. So learning to hire better. The one thing that I have learned about hiring better is there's a gauge. And if I hire somebody and I go, oh, no problem, I can afford them, no problem. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, it's okay. But if I get somebody and I go, ooh, I wonder, this is going to be, can we afford them? Then that's usually a good sign. If we can afford them, then that's the one, that's a good person there. If you're worried about it, if you think, man, this person's expensive, that's always been the gauge for me. Is if I'm concerned about making the money work for them, then it's a good thing for us. And what I have found is that everyone on our team that is our A players, our top people, our best people that you talk to, every single one of them was that way. Ooh, can I afford this person? Can I afford to keep them? And the thing is when you start hiring people that you don't think you can afford, they perform way better than people who you can afford. And so your business grows. And so that's a hard one. You got to be willing to go to zero. You got to be willing to make less money for a while. You got to be willing to do things like that. But that's why margin's so important. That's why savings and emergency fund is so important, because you never know when Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, who can take you to the next level, is going to show up, but you got to be able to afford them. So very good information there. Derek Jensen says, I take the 10% contractors discount y'all give us and save the 5%, then offer 10 off the labor if they combine any of my pressure washing services. Customers seem to respond well to this. And anyone have an upsell advice? Some great upsells would be fence armor. If you don't know what fence armor is, I don't have a piece handy, but it's a great guard that goes on the bottom of your fence post, and it protects against weed eater and weed whacker damage. They're a couple of bucks a piece. HOAs and communities love them. It's really simple. There's a huge warranty on it. It's made in North America. It's really cool. It checks all the boxes. We believe in it. I've got it on my desk. The posts on my desk are actually fence posts with grass around them in fence armor. So that's why you see me looking down at my desk. But fence armor is a great value add that you can upsell. We have our citronella oil formula that keeps bugs away. That's a great upsell. Maintenance plans are a great upsell. Hey, how about we go ahead and we come back in the spring and we rinse everything off after all the pollen's settled and the bird poop in the first half of the year's grass clippings are blown out everywhere. Those things like that are good upsells. Oh, somebody's watching here. So somebody from our team says, email your contact information to info@stainandsealexperts.com. We'd love to chat with you about our products and get Stain on the way to you. Yeah, we would love that. And we love working with you guys and anybody who we can get and they can help. We can help make their staining business easier, funner, less stressful. That's what we're here for. We have extremely warm weather here, and we're talking about Ohio right now from Clearwater Pro Wash. Our season should be done, but she keeps getting calls. Got called by a major airlines for some cleaning. Wow, congratulations. That sounds to me like something that you could turn into recurring revenue. That would be really cool if you could do that, especially with someone as big as a major airline, because they've been buying the service for years and they're going to keep buying it for years. It might as well be you. So guys, if you got any questions, drop them in the comments. I got a couple of tips. I call this the expert tips section. I'm going to get a sip of water and then we'll go right into it. Hopefully you can't hear that too bad, right? All right, expert staining tips. Number one tip, because and these tips are derived from the phone calls we get in our office. This isn't to call anyone out because I would never do that. But it is to highlight a need that we see, because we got 20 people up here in our office and the phone rings nonstop. Contractors with questions and with problems sometimes. Hey, I've got this problem. How do I fix it? And one that I've noticed more and more is color sign off. My customers, Mandy's customers, or service operations VP always has a color sign off. You hear me knocking on wood, but I knock on wood because we just tend to not have color choice problems. We pick the color, and it is what it is, and we just don't have issues with that. But I know that comes with confidence and comes with time and comes with a procedure. And so my customers always sign off on a color choice. Color choice is a big deal for homeowners. As a contractor, you get to leave after you stain a fence or deck for your client. But Mr. or Mrs. Customer has to live with the color forever. So we want to offer plenty of photos of stain colors on multiple varieties of lumber and multiple lighting conditions and multiple, on a fence, on a deck, different angles. Give them what they need to look and make an educated decision. You know what these colors look like. You look at them every single day. They have no idea. We have found that real world photos actually tend to work much better than small wood samples. Small wood samples, we make them. We make fan decks, and we make thousands of them. And you probably have one if you're listening to this. If you don't, we'll send you one. But those things can get you in trouble. They are a guide. They are not a real color sample because it's not a solid paint. It is a transparent or semi-transparent stain on a piece of wood, and every piece of wood is like a snowflake. It's different. And so the color sample is a great indicator of what it, kind of the tone or the shade that you're looking at. And then I recommend you send out lots of pictures. And we're working hard. The Staining University page has tons of pictures. All you got to do is type in the color that you're thinking about and you'll find it. And we're also working on a database to give everyone access to that will give real-time, immediate photos to you. But until we get that, use the Facebook page. Customers should also be required to sign off and initial their color choice so there is no confusion as to what color they selected. This protects you from the confusion and trouble later on down the road, and it gives a better customer experience. If they signed off on it and they know they signed off on it, they're not going to go, well, that color is just not right and I'm not happy with that. You signed off on that color. And if you're not happy with it, that is okay. But this is going to be a change order. And we're going to have to charge more money because we've got to take the old color off. We've got to put the new color back on. Or maybe you chose black and you decide now you want a golden honey color. That's going to be a major operation there to remove that black finish off and go back with a lighter color. So it's always a good idea to get your customers to sign off on these things. Because 99% of customers are good people. And if they sign off on it, they get it, or if they tell you the color that they want, they'll stick by it. But we all know that there is a small percentage of people in this world who will take advantage and exploit a small contractor. Maybe they recognize that you're not a $500 million company. They recognize that you and your wife run this with 2 helpers. And you have a great business, a great reputation, but they also know that you don't have 10 lawyers on staff. They also know that you don't have a great contract, and they also know maybe you're not as confident as somebody would be from a $1 billion company. So when it comes to, I don't like that color, and I really don't want to, I don't want to pay for this fence staining job. Some people will push you, and they will try their best to not pay. Right? I mean, it's very, very rare, but the people do exist. And a good contract where they sign off on the color, it just saves you from any chance of having issues. So I think you guys know what I'm talking about. So next tip, I got a number 2 tip. Penetrating oil-based stains can be mixed together. I know most of you know that, but that is going to be news to some of you. Multiple leftover colors of stain can be mixed together to create a Frankenstein color. Some contractors make these batches and sell them at a discounted rate to their clients at the end of the year. You can end up with some really beautiful shades of stain and clear out extra inventory, and that's a great deal for you and your customer. So many brands of stain that are penetrating oil-based can be mixed together or blended together, different colors. Some cannot, so you need to check with your manufacturer. We use Expert Stain and Seal, and all of our colors can be mixed together. Clear can be mixed with black, can be mixed with pecan, can be mixed with sable, can be mixed with chestnut, and on and on and on. And so if you've got some, a bunch of buckets of stain laying around, you got 2 buckets of clear, you got 2 buckets of chocolate, you got a cedar tone, and you got a redwood. Man, if you mix all those together and it comes up with, 50 gallons and you got a fence that's 500 feet, you could give your customer a great deal and become competitive on that 500 foot of fence. Because let's face it, you get a 500 foot fence out there for quote, a lot of people are going to be competitive on that this time of year. So using old stain inventory might be a great way to offer your customer something different, a custom blend, and it might be a great way to be very competitive. And just don't forget to write down what the blend was. So if they call you back in 2 or 3 years, write down what the blend was, and you can probably redo it, or you can, chances are when you mix all these together, and you look at it, you're going to go, oh, well, that looks a whole lot like sable brown, So if we need to recoat this in 3, 4, 5 years, we'll just use sable brown. That is about all I've got for expert tips today. Don't want to overload you with too much stuff. Let's go back to some comments and talk about that. So Clearwater Pro Wash says, by the way, we tried the black stain on our front porch accents. It is true black and makes the house and porch stand out beautifully. Thank you. Yes, we wanted to make a black stain, and we've got some improvements to make to some of our semi-solids very soon that'll make it so you can use it on any surface without issue. We don't recommend black on decking and things like that. We're going to fix that. So you guys just stand by. She says the one drawback of the black stain is it stays under your fingernails for a week if not wearing gloves. You should always wear gloves. You should always protect yourself. But if not, Dawn dish soap does a pretty good job of getting it off. She had that customer, and it changed me a while with anxiety. So she's talking about those customers that just want to be bad. There's some bad customers, there's some bad contractors, right? And if you get a bad customer, remember all of the things that you had happen, and then go back to your contract. Remember what we talked about earlier? Review your contract, make those changes. And something that I decided that I was going to do a long time ago, we're not working for bad customers. If they call in and they usually, right up front, they're rude, they are inconsiderate, they're demanding, and it's very out of the norm. Sounds like a great customer for someone else. You just don't have to take them. You don't have to put up with their stuff. And when you get to that place, amazing thing happens. You no longer get bad customers. So I think that's a good thing to know, that you can say no. You can certainly say no, and you can agree that it's probably a good idea to not work for this person. So, and those people, they get that happens to them. You're not the only one that they're rude to. That happens. But, there's a great customer out there who needs your service, who's going to be lovely to work for. Go work for them. Don't work for the bad ones. Events. Wintertime is a great time to come to an event, to learn your trade, to learn your craft better, to add on a new skill. And I've got some events coming up here, Staining University events. We've got quite a few here, and I would really, really love it if you guys would join me. Ashley, if you're listening, my wonderful wife, my completely better half, if you will drop some links for me here, that would be helpful in the comments. That would be helpful for all the folks watching. Event number 1, Staining University, Springfield, Missouri, at Ozark Fence, November 10th and 11th. That is next week. So we're having a great class up there. We do this every year. That's Joe Everest, the fence expert's place. Not sponsors is not the word, but he puts this whole thing on. This is Joe's event, and we come and we do a Staining University there, much like the one we do in Nashville. We're going to have some great fun. I think Walt Dennis, Kenny Dugan, the people from Matt Warner and Place Empire Fence, my salesman will be there. We will be there. I've got a new instructor for you, Mandy. most of you have talked to Mandy before. She completely runs our service business, and she's going to do a big class on how she bids jobs and never looks at them in person. And so I'm excited about that because she was a school teacher before she came to work here. And so she knows how to teach. So I'm very excited to see the right way to teach fence staining and deck staining bidding. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Sign up for that event online. We do have a sign up for that, and it's a free event. And so please do that. Please check us out. And there will be samples. We'll have all kind of stuff there for you if you need it. And we hope to see you there. The next one is in Toronto, Canada. So we're going nationwide. We're going international. We will be in Toronto at Fence Armor, who is the Canadian distributor for Stain and Seal Experts, expert stain and seal products. And we got a great lineup there as well. We're going to do a lot of hands-on training and then a lot of talk. And it's going to be a great event. There is no snow up there, so that's good. And that means we get to kind of see some beautiful weather there. Hopefully it holds up. November 19th, that's going to be a fun one. Again, a free event. Again, there'll be samples, brochures, whatever you need. We're going to have it there. Now, big announcement. You guys have waited for the big announcement, and here it is. We're doing a virtual Staining University event. And I do not have the sign-up link yet because this sign-up is going to be a little different. But on December 8th, we have a virtual Staining University event. And I've got it just packed with some big, big, big names. So, number one, I'm going to be there, right? I'm going to talk. You guys know me. Number two, Mandy, our service operations manager, will be there going over all of this bidding stuff. So if you can't make it to Springfield, Missouri, you can hear that same talk and you can see all the visuals and learn all the stuff that she's doing. This what she does totally transformed our business, and I want you to learn about it too. We also have Jamie Hodge from Coastal Premier Stain. Jamie's a great friend of mine, and he's a great friend of many of you, and he's going to be talking about what he's learned running his business. Jamie was a federal government instructor for his whole career. He knows how to write classes. He knows how to write curriculum. He knows how to teach. And I'm so excited that he can take that previous life skill set and bring it over to talk about his stain business, because he has a successful stain business. And he does fences, he does decks, he does oil base, he does water base, he does solids, he does semi-solids, he does semi-transparents, he does paver sealing, he does concrete, acid staining. So he's got a lot of knowledge about add-on services and the realities, maybe things that some schools teach you that maybe aren't quite, real world. And then, he's going to talk about a lot of the things that other schools don't teach you that you need to be aware of when you start a staining business. And so huge announcement to have Jamie Hodge there. We're going to have Jacob Salem, who's a Zig Ziglar certified, and Les Brown. He's worked with Kevin Harrington, does all their marketing for those guys. He helps us with our marketing. There's some other big names in our industry that you would recognize that he works with, particularly on the power washing side. And he was our keynote speaker at Staining University this year, got a standing ovation. He will be our keynote speaker, and he's going to inspire you. He's going to talk about marketing and other things, but he's going to inspire you to do something great with your business. And I want you to be there to hear him. We've also got, Al Martins from Fence Armor going to talk to us about upsells. He's going to talk to us how to add value to our staining business. And that's a talk you don't want to miss as well. We're hoping, I'm going to throw this one out there because I've not confirmed it yet, but we're certainly hoping Matt Warner can come on and talk about company culture. He has helped me transform our company culture to something it was not, and I'm very grateful. And he's a great friend of mine and mentor, and I hope Matt can be that for you too. And so come and hear Matt speak. If he does not speak, Rachel will speak, but hopefully Matt will. We've also got Joe Everest, the fence expert, to talk to us about content marketing with video. He has transformed his business with content marketing, and he's going to tell you how to do it. And the big announcement, I'm sure we got other people, but the big announcement for the virtual event, and I'm going to tag him here, is the Wizard of Wood is going to be speaking at our Staining University virtual online event on December 8th. So that's super exciting. He's the legend. He's the biggest name in wood restoration. And I am excited to hear about what he does, about how he's done it, maybe some background. I'm sure we're going to come up with some questions, because I'm going to come up with some questions for sure. When you are in the room with a master, you must ask questions. But before you ask questions, you got to let them say, just I don't even know what questions to ask him. Tell me what I need to know. That's something that you definitely gotta just sit back and let them talk. And so been trying to make that work for several years, and it is done. Talked to Everett Abrams yesterday, and he will be there. So I'm super excited and humbled to have that. And if you're watching, man, I really appreciate it. This is going to be awesome. We're going to do something good to help some folks, and I can't wait. So be on the lookout for this virtual Staining University sign-up sheet. It is going to be a free event. You will have to sign up and register for this. You will have to join. We're going to stream this live, but we're also going to have an interactive thing where you can get in. You have to register for this. You can get in on the inside, and it's going to be an all-day event. So take the day off from work, December 8th. Block it out of your schedule. It's a Thursday. It's going to be raining that day, hopefully, so everybody can join us. But we are going to stream this live, but you won't be able to interact like you will if you come into the platform that we're using. Again, it's free. If you sign up, we're not going to sell your information. We just need you to sign up so we can get you in, so you can make real-time comments, and we can do those sort of things. And so that they can see your face, because you're going to be virtual on this. You're going to get to see them. They're going to see you. They're going to know who you're talking to. So this is going to be a very intimate event. And so I beg you guys to take the day off and get here for this, because I'm taking the day off from my business to be here for this. And I want you guys to do the same. It is important. Let your people in your business watch this. Pay your guys to spend the day and watch this. Bring in some barbecue, do a safety training, get everybody signed up for the new insurance program you're offering or whatever. But you got to be there, and you got to do it. You got to take the time. It'll be in 1 hour blocks. So we'll be 35 to 45 minute classes with 15 minutes or so of Q&A for each block. And that one's going to be huge, and it's going to be life-changing for someone. Maybe it's you if you're there. So got a few lists here. There's the link for the Springfield event in the comments. There's the link for the Canada Toronto event. There is the link for our Nashville class. Can't forget Nashville. The main event, the big one, is going to be February 16th and 17th this year. And maybe we can get Everett Abrams to come to that one too. But that's our big event. And that's the biggest hands-on wood care training in the world. There is no bigger one that happens. There will be hundreds of people there, and it's going to be all wood care, all staining, sealing, cleaning wood, sanding wood, new equipment, things like that. But let me back up. I want to go back to the virtual event, because there's somebody that I forgot about, and I know they're probably watching today. Stephen Shires over in the UK. I haven't seen you this morning. There you are. You just popped out. I'm putting you on the spot right now. I want you to speak about wood care in the UK. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a confirmation. Can you do it? Can you make it? We'll work with your schedule. Can you speak? Stephen runs a very high-end deck care, and I guess fencing too, but primarily decking, wood care business over in the UK. Very highly regarded in the market. Everyone knows him. Got a lot of knowledge there, and just things are different over there. And so I think if we could get that perspective from the UK, then we can make that work. And we would love to have you on there. We'll help you with the technology if that's an issue, and get you on there. I know everyone here, with a show of hands, please give us a thumbs up right now if you want to hear about how they do wood care over on the other side of the ocean. So please plan on doing that, Stephen, if you can. Clearwater Pro Wash says, I'm definitely interested in the virtual event. And that's an awesome announcement. Wizard of Wood's coming. That's great. Will the event be a replay as well, so we may watch again? Absolutely. We're going to replay it. It's going to be live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. We're going to break it up into small bite-sized pieces so that it'll go forever on YouTube. But there is a benefit to being there when it's live, because you can ask questions that you just can't ask otherwise. Zach's putting it on his calendar now. Steven Sire says, I'm on holiday in Dubai for my 60th, but I will try to get on. Well, it must be nice, right? I can't wait to see what Dubai looks like. Congratulations for going to Dubai. If you can make it, please do. We won't take up much of your time. And Dubai has outstanding internet service, so you should be good there. Dubai is like Miami, but without the trouble, right? It's a cool place. And James Gordy is joining us on YouTube from New Church, Virginia. Appreciate you coming. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed the show. If you got any last minute questions, throw them on here. Otherwise, I think we've covered all our bases. But I'm so excited. I can't express how excited I am for these new events we've got going on. I want you guys to take a moment to join Staining University. It's an online Facebook group. It is the best professional wood care community on the internet and the biggest. And join it. I mean, there's so many people that use so many different stains, have so many different experiences, have so many different backgrounds. And so if you got a problem, they can help you. If you're, and today I do want to mention that this show is sponsored by Expert Stain and Seal. It is professional wood care products. And so what does that look like? A professional wood care product penetrates into the wood. It makes the wood beautiful. It protects it from the inside out, stops warping, cracking, and twisting. Here it is on Ipe Brazilian hardwood. Look at that. Yep, we get penetration into Ipe. We're still working on making the top stay beautiful, just like every other brand, but we do get the penetration. And you won't find a stain that penetrates better when you buy our off-the-shelf stain. And so check us out, expertwoodcare.com. We got distributors and dealers all over the world. Nebraska, Justin Menendez, there's our newest dealer there. That's a real photo of Justin. I think he would, that was before he, ate supper, so his stomach's tight, but look at him there. Do business with Justin, making all things new. Great people. You can't get a better person to do business with, and he keeps a lot of stain. He knows stain, and he'll get it to you fast. And I'm just so excited for that new chapter for Justin. That's going to be a lot of fun. So having said that, guys, remember, a project's not done till it's finished. So it's our obligation to try to help all of our customers get their job finished properly, professionally, and spend some time with your family, guys. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you soon.